And back with another great and informative video. I'll probably be with you today in about maybe 10 minutes. Got to get on another call here, but I'm sorry I've been away for a bit. Been a little busy, tied up doing some other things, and just getting back in the thick of things. But I got something I want to share with you that I think is going to change your life. You know, I always try to bring content that I think is going to be relevant to your situation, and you can take action and actually do something. All right. And I always try to touch the areas of how you transform your mindset to finance, things economically that's going to empower you. All right. And I think what I have to say today is it hurts me to talk about some of my past failures. Okay. But it enlightens you, and it's going to allow you to see some of the things that you should not do. It'll warn you and kind of help you and lead you to go in the right direction to not do what I did. And hopefully you can profit from the mistakes that I made as a mentor to some of you. I may not be a mentor to many, but to some who listen to what I say, just like somebody poured into me and paid it forward to me, I'm paying it forward to you. I'm going to give you a $7 million mistake that I made. And I got a feeling a lot of you'll be able to at least make some of that money in the next 36 months if you hear what I'm going to say. Let's get into this. Okay, so back in 2020, I made an unprofessional decision. I think I made a decision based on my emotions. It was an investment decision. One of the things I want to tell you about being successful, if you're a millionaire, if you're striving to be successful, or you want to be an amazing writer, or dancer, or or businessman, or if you cut lawn, whatever you're trying to get to the highest level of it. Any profession you want to do, no matter what it is, there are times you'll make bad investments, not just with money, but with your time. Time is a greater resource than money because remember, you can get rich overnight. You can become very successful. Some people get it fast. People make $10 million before they bat an eye. If you become an athlete, you go to the pros, you get a big contract, or you become this big singer, you go on tour, right? Or let's say you invent a product and it goes viral online and you make that money, but you can lose that money tomorrow. That's how fast it is. And you can, if you have the skill set, you understand how to recreate what you just did, you can create more wealth and more money and have more success, right? But time is something you don't get back. So I always tell people, value time a hell of a lot more than money. So you can lose your time when you're investing in wrong places with people that don't respect your time, or you get involved with something that's consuming so much of your time, you're not getting the full benefits from it. So I tell you I'm going to tell you to guard your time much more than you do with the money, but both are very important. But what I'm talking about today, though, is the money investment, something I did bad with money, all right, which at the time I didn't know. I thought I was doing the right thing. So in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, my wife and I had a really good year. You guys hear me talk about it a lot. We were living in Covington right before we bought our house in a rented home. It was nice, and we had some extra. We made like I said, $500,000 that year, but it wasn't all profit. Our profit was probably $200,000. But we took $20,000, and this is something I did. I told my wife, listen, I think we should invest in some startup tech companies, And we went to a website called startengine.com. Startengine.com, one of the faces of that company right now who advertises for them is Mr. Wonderful. He's the guy that's on Shark Tank. He's the bald head guy that sits in the middle. He's always complaining and trying to get the best deal and trying to get over on. He's the biggest shark on there, trying to get over on the entrepreneur, and he'll give you $100,000 for 60% of your business. That's that guy. But I kind of followed him a little bit to see what he was talking about, and he was advertising on Start Engine's website. He was like, hey, listen, these startup companies are great. Invest. So they had at the time probably 200 companies, and I invested in the 40 of them. I put 200 here and 500 here and 1,000 here until it added up to $20,000. So I actually put $2,000 in actually the Start Engine company themselves, but I put money in other places like Jet Token, and there's quite a few companies on there. Go take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I made that investment, right? And I didn't have the best knowledge and information on where to put that $20,000 at that time. We invest based on what we think we know. Had I waited a little bit and got involved in what I'm going to share with you a little bit later in this presentation here, I would have been $7 million richer today. But I didn't have that information. I kind of, I was a little emotional because, sometimes we're emotional buyers. But once you invest, depending on what it is, in most cases, unless it turns over right away, you got to wait, especially with the investments that I had. But I put money in these companies, and To this very day, only one of them sold, and I made about $1,000 in profit. But the other $20,000 worth of investments of the 19,000 I had, that's still with those other 39 companies, I'm having to sit and wait because I cannot recoup the investment until they go public. Well, these are privatized companies, and I have private shares. So I didn't know at the time. I thought that maybe within a year or two that I could resell the shares, et cetera. I didn't have all the information. And here it is 5 years later. That portfolio is probably worth about 50 grand. But had I put it somewhere else, I would have 5x or 10x my investment. I didn't know. So now I'm sitting here with 39 companies. At least the investment did grow. It's worth like 40,000 now. But if I needed access to the cash, I have to wait till each company goes public before I can go and sell the shares. So I'm kind of stuck. So I will tell you this: make sure you have all the information on how your investment comes back to you and how fast before you make the investment. Number one. So having said that, now I'm sitting here and I started studying more on where can I put money. I started studying Roth IRAs and companies you can put your money into to get faster returns. And it wasn't until 2025. I'm going to tell y'all something that's going to knock your socks off. It wasn't until this year I discovered, and this has been going on for many years, how you can put investments in crypto through what we call smart contracts. If you listen to me, write that down. That's going to be very important and vital to what I'm going to tell you now. You can put small minimum investments in legal, legitimized smart contracts. And, when you put the money into the smart contract, it is a real contract. You invest the money and it compounds interest. It compounds with compound interest, over time. And it's through a decentralized platform, crypto and blockchain. You guys know, I told you the other story how in 2010, I laughed at a guy that told me to buy 1,000 Bitcoin. I would not buy. I could have bought them for maybe pennies on the dollar for like $700. I could have had 1,000 of them. And I told them blockchain, crypto, et cetera, especially Bitcoin, it ain't going nowhere. That's what I told the guy. Big mistake. I would have been worth about $100 million today if I'd have done what he said. I didn't see the future. Well, I'm telling you, don't think like I was thinking that time. I was let out of it because I was so into my own thing, I couldn't see the future. In 2020, I've been hearing more about smart contracts, but I didn't know where to go. So you can hear about a thing, but if you don't have the vehicle to get on the right path and get the right information or get access to the right platform, then you really can't invest. It's good to hear about, private companies and tech companies, but if you don't know where to go and invest the money, then you still don't have full access. Well, I'm telling you right now, in 2025, I discovered companies where you can put I'm talking minimum investments of $100 and start a smart contract. And they take that money and they compound it through decentralization, through their platform, through cryptocurrencies. And in about 36, they have different plans. Some contracts expire in 36 months, some go 5 years, some go 7 years. But here is where I did the numbers and I almost lost it when I figured this out. Right now, you can take a $100 investment. And if you want more information, just say, I want more information. Just type it in the chat. You can take a $100 investment, put it and buy a smart contract through the platforms that I'm recommending, that I've been looking at. This is not fluff. This is fact. And in about 36 months, you can cash out for anywhere between $30,000 and $35,000. Let's be safe to say $35,000. Some people will cash out higher, but that contract matures in 36 months, and you can go and cash out. You can move around the crypto, and because you have access to it, now you can cash out and send it to your bank account. When you cash out, you have to put it through a centralized platform like Coinbase or something like that. So you pay taxes on it, legitimately paying taxes on it. And I talk about how you can save your money if you get a trust, a Cook Island trust or irrevocable trust when you take your money out, so you don't pay taxes, but you have to structure the trust with the holding company and all that stuff. So the government won't come after you for like 35% of whatever you cash out. Or you can start a nonprofit organization and become 501c3 compliant, and you can move some of that money into that and pay yourself a salary through your nonprofit, so the money goes back to you. Most movie stars and celebrities, they have a nonprofit where they can send donations, that they earn from themselves over to this platform, to the nonprofit, so that money doesn't go to the government, it goes to them. But we talk about how to do that. So what I'm saying is, with these smart contracts, you definitely have to pay taxes on it when it cashes out. But think about that. $100 investment In 36 months, it turns into 35,000. Now, here's how you get wealthy. I was on some conference calls. This is a few weeks ago, and I've been watching this for years. You can have up to 80 contracts per person. So you had some people that had 10 contracts. You know, think about a person that took $1,000, which is 10 times 100. So they got 10 contracts at $100 a piece. And in 36 months, they were cashing out at 35,000 times 10. They were cashing out at $350,000 on a $1,000 investment. You can do that right now if you were to get in today and right before the next election, which is, 36 months, right? Somewhere in there. Well, it's going to be 4 years, but my point is, right before the next election, you could be cashing out on a lot of cash. On a $100 investment, you'll get $35,000 back. You had people that got 10. You had some people that got 80 contracts. So with my $20,000 investment, I did some math here. Look at this, guys. With my little investment, it wasn't little, but I thought it was little at the time, because I thought, well, if I can 5X it, that'll be good. But $20,000, that would have allowed me to get 200 contracts. All right, at $100 times 35 grand, I would have been able to cash out a year ago, actually, 2 years ago, at $7 million. You do the math on $35,000 times 200. That's how much money I would have made on a $20,000 investment. And I'm telling you, guys, please wake up. Put your money in places where you know it can turn a profit. This would have been a legitimized income. Okay? I would have been able to cash out, move it to my wallet, withdraw it to my bank account. Of course, I would have to pay 35 or 40% the taxes on it. But again, I know how to make sure that I don't have to pay that if I'm structured properly. And like I said, through the trust or through the nonprofit 501c3 compliance. All right? These are the legitimate ways you can do that. But I'm telling you, you need to start thinking about your future financially for your family. Think about this for a second. If you have a kid that wants to go to college in 5 years, you need to get him like 3 contracts. That's $300 out of your pocket. Think about that for a second. You do that, you do 3 of them, that's 35,000 times 3. That's 105 grand for their college education on a $300 investment. Guaranteed. This is not maybe, this is not fiction, this is fact. I saw, what got me was when I saw all the people making this money, I was like, wow. I saw people cashing out, because see, they've been investing over the last few years, and whenever their 36 months is over, they get on these conference calls and they testify of how much money they got. One guy got 500 and something thousand. One person got 200 grand because they got XYZ. They got 6 contracts or 7 contracts. And some people, from what I'm hearing, some people, depending on who you go to, you can do more than 80 contracts per person. But 80 contracts, guys, that's $8,000. 80 contracts is going to yield you anywhere from, I'll make I told you 7 million for myself. That was with 20,000, right? So you're looking at about $3 million you're going to make. Something like that. Let's do the math and make sure I got the numbers right. But for 80 contracts times 35,000, it is, $2.8 million with an $8,000 investment. You have to think like a wealthy person. Wealth outlives you, Think about the people coming after you. If you have an elderly person in your house and, you don't have a way to pay for their funeral, they're going to expire one day. You need to invest $100 and put it in something like this and let it sit for 36 months, for 3 years, and cash out. And they'll have $30-something thousand. You have 30 to bury them. This is wisdom talking now, okay? Wealth building. It's only one of the things I want to share with you, but I was misinformed and I put my money in the wrong place. So what I'm telling you guys is you've got to know where to put your money. As long as you learn from it, you're okay. I learned from that mistake. I mean, it's not like I lost. The money's just sitting there and I can't have access to it until these privatized companies go public or they decide to sell to another company. One company sold, and that's how I was able to get my shares. But you don't want to wait for your wealth that way. You need an expiration date. You need a due date on it. All right. If you start a business and you've been in that business 2-3 years, you got to write down some goals. And if it's not working within 10 years or 5 years, then you may need to reconsider finding something else to do. You don't want to take your whole entire life to create wealth, right? Well, that's what I'm saying with this. So think about what I just said. And if you want more information on how to do smart contracts and how I got involved in this, please type in the chat smart contracts or more information. Just say something relevant to wanting to get more information, and I will share it with you. But I'm not going to just give this to anyone. I stumbled across it because of how I think, and that's how you stumble on me, is how you think. You want an opportunity to make money or to create wealth, and you just don't know how to do it, but you've been thinking about it. That's what brought me to you. All right? So be serious about this. This is a serious way to get wealthy over time. You start tonight, in 3 years, some of y'all can be retiring. All right? You invest $1,000, that's 360 grand you'll make in 3 years. That's enough to retire some folks. You can take 100,000, and live for the next year or two, right? And the other 200,000, you can put in another investment. You can do day trading or something. Guys, if you took $100,000, I'm gonna give you this last tip before I go. 100 grand, and you give it to a day trader. Well, find a trusted day trader, by the way. $100,000 investment. You can make anywhere from 1 to 5% every day on your money. You do the math. So if you have $100,000, let's say, so you got 300,000 after 3 years, right? You take 200,000, you do what you want. You take 100,000, give it to that day trader. That day trader is making anywhere from 1,000 to 5 grand a day on your 100 grand. Let's say it's only $1,000 a day. That's $5,000 a week. That's $20,000 a month. You haven't touched the principal yet. This is the power of your money becoming your employee. I want you to get this. Think a little bit. If you want to be wealthy, you got to think about, I can't just work for money. You got to find a way to make money work for me to become your employee. Again, $100,000 investment. You put it with a good trader, and I know some, but you can look them up. $20,000 a month passive income. You have not touched your principal yet. That's an extra 240 grand a year for as long as you're trading. That's it. That was the big tip for you. So you got to find a way to get the seed money, which would be the smart contracts, right? Get involved with those. Set it out. Just wait. Keep working. Do what you're doing. If you want to build other businesses, do that. But you got to sit and wait for the money to accumulate the interest and the compound interest that accumulates with the cryptocurrency through decentralization, which most people are not talking about. But if you look around, people are going to decentralizing their money. They're trying to put it in places like cryptocurrency and blockchain so that the money continues to grow. And if the dollar crashes and the euro crashes, which they are going to crash, crypto will stand the test of time. I'm telling you some facts here. I think Donald Trump recently just said that he don't want to print pennies and nickels anymore. They don't want the Treasury printing because it's a waste of time. He wants everybody to move over to the blockchain. And he names some specific cryptos. Go Google this stuff, man. I'm telling you the truth. This is fact. He wants to move because he knows where it's going. And I'm telling you, as a prophet in finance, that's where it's going. Get it together, guys. And I'm clapping for you because I think you got a revelation. You got some understanding now that, you know what you need to do now. Just take action and get it done. All right? I will see you at the top.